We're back at the $1 million pool, baby, and this is a very momentous occasion because this will be the last time that we see the existing main house in its current state. By the end of this video, you're gonna see us tear down the whole main level to get a clean slate to install our largest structural steel package to date. But for now, let's get into the video. Okay, so obviously we're gonna start from the very top and work our way down. Well, the top layer is a standing seam roof, and you can't just go in there and pull this stuff off. If you go to a shingle roof, you can literally just take a wedge, a scraper, and just scrape all that stuff up. It comes right off. But how the standing seam is put together, it's literally mechanically fastened at those seams. And then what you're gonna see is when they come to an angle to a point, that's called the ridge cap. And that ridge cap is also mechanically fastened over all of that. So it's a bit of a tedious process. You have to know how it's put together to easily take it apart. So what you're seeing is the guys will go in, take off that ridge cap, they'll kind of cut one section, and then instead of peeling each piece off, they'll kind of peel the whole thing back because it's all interlocked. And then they'll get to a point where it's just kind of too long, and then they'll go ahead and cut that, and they're gonna work their way across the whole roof, and we're gonna take off all the metal first. We're gonna keep on all the plywood underneath so that they can continue to walk around and take off what they need, and then they're gonna start working on getting all of that roof sheathing off and pulling it down, throwing it down over to the dumpster. So you might be asking yourself, why are we tearing this whole house down, at least on the main level? And there's multiple reasons why, but the first reason is the floor plan is materially changing. In certain types of homes and certain types of renovations, we can keep framing. Like, we're keeping a lot of the framing on the lower level because we're not really bumping out like everywhere. If you're kind of just expanding out the whole side of a house, a lot of this existing framing is not gonna work. All of this is load bearing. This wall that you see behind me, it has to all come out, right? The other thing is, we want all of our new walls to be nice and plumb. We want it to be nice and level so that when we come back with our drywall, our tile, there's wood skinned walls. We want everything to be nice and perfect. But another reason, come check this out. The footprint isn't really changing here, but what is changing is we have floor to ceiling glass from this corner all the way to this corner. And on top of that, this is gonna be a fully operational slider. This is a nearly 40-foot long sliding glass wall that's gonna stack all to one side. We got the guys busting in the roof. Here we go. It's really happening. Man, guys, I am telling you, this project has been so exciting, but the amount of planning, the amount of back and forth that we've had to do between architects, engineers, all of our permitting, this has been absolutely nuts. And now we're finally at the point where we can tear all this down and get ready for structural steel. So the thing about framers is they're like acrobats. They're just so used to walking around on all this framing and being up high. It's like second nature to these guys. Me, I just get nervous watching them. I am super glad that I don't have to do that. I'm super thankful for P&B and our crews busting their ass for us day in and day out. But what has just happened? Oh, the heavens are open. We are seeing sky over at the $1 million pool. This floor plan is changing so much that it just makes so much more sense functionally, economically, timing-wise, efficiency, everything. And the amount of money that our clients are spending, they want a nice brand new home. They don't want to keep some old framing that's going to be warped and stuff like that. Okay, now it's time to take off the roof decking. And this is just an OSB material. It's not super strong. It comes up relatively easy, but think about this. When you're pulling off each piece, it's gonna expose the framing underneath. So they have to pull it off, start from the back, leave pathways for them to walk and carry those sheets and throw them down to where our dumpster is. This is very precarious work. My hat goes off to these guys. These framers, all of our different steel erectors, a bunch of different trades like painters and stucco and masons, they are used to working, you know, up here like at heights, right? There's roofers that do this day in and day out. And I will tell you, if I am just standing up there, my legs are shaking. Heights is my one thing that I do not like. I absolutely hate it. So I just admire these guys so much. The confidence that they have walking around on these roofs, just how sure of themselves they are, and this work that they're doing for us day in and day out does not go unnoticed, and I'm eternally grateful to these guys. So we got some GoPros and we had the guys wear some head mounts, and it's just so cool seeing things from their perspective. You know, you see this video and it just, the scale is really tough to comprehend, but you see them up there, they're up there high in the air, they're throwing these huge sheets and then they're falling like airplanes, boom! So being on site and hearing just like all the thunder that's happening as they're demoing, it never gets old. But check this clip out. The guys are going through, after they took off a lot of the sheathing, they're cutting off the soffit. The gutter is attached, and this stuff is just falling down, and it's very violent. The sounds are amazing. I just love it. I can watch this stuff all day, and you can too. All of this is going on our ASMR channel. We have one video out right now that is screaming as we speak. The views are starting to take off from people all over the world. We're gonna be doing this for every single project. All of this stuff is just gonna be raw footage, all the B-roll. Check it out in the ASMR channel. It's gonna be linked down below. Okay, now we're actually down to taking our roof system, the framing system that makes up the roof. That is the rafters. The rafter is the topmost framing member that the roof is actually attached to. The other members under that, if it makes up a ceiling or it can make up a floor, we call those joists. Like if you're walking over a deck and there's horizontal framing members, we would call those joists. Sometimes when you have a lofted ceiling, the rafter all the way at the top can make up the ceiling. But as you see, now the guys are up there, they're cutting out the rafters, they're cutting out the joists, they're taking that kind of A-frame member off the top, so that then once all of that's gone, we can go and then cut down the walls below. Because think about this, if you did that earlier, if you did that in the inverse, you'd have all of this stuff literally crashing on top of you. So I know it's common sense, but you're starting off at the very top point and working your way down to the slab. And then here, this is tough because we can't just bring in an excavator. We have a bunch of finished concrete around us. We're trying to maintain a lot of the subfloor that's there. So we're not just gonna bring an excavator. It's also really tight. You can't really get an excavator up to this site. And remember, all of the framing below, we are keeping a large portion of it plus the back wall. So this isn't just a tear it all down. This is a much more selective demo, and it had to be done in the process that you just saw. Now, interspersed between the rafters, so usually the rafters is gonna be just like a 2x member. It'll be like a 2x8 to 2x12, depending on. But then we're gonna have bigger beams. You'll see those different LVLs up in there, or sometimes you'll use like double 2x12s, things like that. But the big LVLs, those are huge, right? So the guys are going through, they're sawzalling some of those so that they'll come down in chunks. You can see them where there's two LVLs sandwiched together. They're driving a wedge down the middle, prying them apart just so it's less weight for them to move around. And my point in all of this is you can't just go in there without a game plan. You cut one of these beams down and it falls and hits you in the head, you're gonna be having a very bad time. The guys are very precise. They've done this literally hundreds of times by now, so they know exactly what they're doing. And as you can see, everything is moving very smoothly. Now that all the roof, the decking, and the roof framing system is all taken down, we can kind of just go in, chop down our walls, and heave-ho and push them over. And this is one of my favorite parts. Check out this chimney falling. It makes quite the bang. falling down onto our foundation. So we wouldn't have pushed that over onto the subfloor side, but over here we can push that out. It's falling out there on the concrete, which is completely fine. And now they're just gonna go through, they're gonna cut any different water lines that we're not using. We're not using any of the old plumbing lines. So we are just gonna cut it all, cut up the walls and just pull them down. Whoa, hold on. Before we get into the finished demo over here at the $1 Million Pool, let me tell you about Ends Pouches, our sponsor for this video. We got 2 new flavors that just dropped, coffee and my personal favorite, strawberry kiwi. Guys, I've said it a million times, but if you don't know by now, each pouch packed with 50 milligrams of caffeine. These are nicotine free. If you're trying to get off vaping, this stuff is perfect for you, man. I love this stuff. Everyone at our office is demolishing this stuff. We're starting to give it out to the guys. It really is awesome. Head on over to nzepouches.com, put in promo code JGB, and you're gonna get 15% off. It's an amazing product. Give it a try. All right, now come check it out. The scale of this project, even after being here for so long, is just unfreaking believable. I mean, look at just how massive this is and open. And now what's amazing is you're first starting to see what an unobstructed view is going to look like. Remember, all of this is open. So all of what we're looking at is gonna just have glass and windows. And this view, it is breathtaking. I was like, oh, it's just like the middle floor, you know, it's not that much, but this was a massive demo. Usually we'll have the big excavators come in and like the demo crews, and they'll just tear a whole house down. But doing all this by hand is no easy task. We've been here taking out material for the better part of like a week, week and a half. And I mean, we got just a little bit left to do. There's some steel that's like attached over there that we're gonna let the steel fabricators do. But now we're gonna have this beautiful area. We're gonna bring the sky tracks in, we're gonna bring some cranes, and then we're gonna crane all of the steel down here. And guys, I just cannot wait to get into that. It's gonna be awesome. We got a little more cleanup to do. Having this nice clean slate, it just feels like we're making a lot of progress. Now it's like the foundation portion of this home is finally complete. I mean, there has actually been another home across the street that is way more basic and a lot smaller that's been fully built in the time that we've done all this crazy site work, which is kind of insane. But we are gonna really start moving and grooving here. Structural steel is gonna go up pretty damn quickly. There's a lot of coordination, and then we're gonna get into framing, and man, I cannot wait to see this baby come together. So looking here, we have some existing steel that was kind of holding up the windows before, but these are a lot smaller members. We're gonna have some big I-beams that are gonna wrap this whole corner, basically all the way down the perimeter of the house. There's gonna be no supports in between. So there's gonna be huge beams, and then we're gonna have a column that goes from here all the way down to the ground. We have various columns like at the end of our doors, there, and they have to go all the way down from the top plate of the second story all the way down to the foundation below. Come on over here. This is gonna make a lot more sense now. We have a couple of these walls. We basically just left this corner up. And to be honest, you would be surprised at how much money we're really saving. Behind that is all the existing masonry that used to be on the home. This is all up against the woods. No one's ever gonna see this. We're just gonna slurry over the stone so it's all kind of a solid color and modernize it a tiny bit. But honestly, we're gonna resize some of this stuff for windows, but not much more than that. And then that is a massive retaining wall. So we don't want to screw with any of that. That's going to save a bunch of money. That retaining wall is going to stay where it's at because that just makes up kind of the back of the house. All the windows are going to be on this side. We cut down that wall over there because that's where windows are going to look out. So you're not just looking out into a wall. Now you see like the beautiful backdrop of the rocks and some trees, and it's going to let in a lot more natural light as well. So another thing that I want to touch on is right now you're looking at the old subfloor. We are keeping this here so that our steel fabricators can use this as a nice working surface. We can use it to stage material. We can walk all over it. We're going to screw it all up during the structural steel process. But then after we have all of our steel members in, we're going to peel up all of this existing subfloor, and then we're going to reskin it with a nice new 1 1/8" Advantech. It's going to be nice and sturdy, structurally sound. It'll be good to go. Guys, another thing that I just wanted to touch on is like how gracious I feel to be trusted with such an insane, such an incredible project. Like, I just look around and there's just so much wealth and so much prosperity, you know, all around us. And working in this type of project, it's like exactly where I dreamed to be. And what's crazy is we have 2 more of these caliber homes, customs, that are about to drop. We're gonna be capturing all of that. I literally hired another videographer so that we can capture all 3 of these projects non-stop. So we are just gonna be bonkers for like the next 2 years. And I can't wait to share with y'all as this beauty really starts to come together. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna piece together a start to finish video. We are gonna pump out some amazing content. You guys are not gonna wanna miss it, but I appreciate all of you for watching as long as you have as well.